about a gentleman named John who was a victim of hacking. Through my scenario, this gentleman named John, my character, was an avid online shopper, and he did a lot of online shopping with a computer that was very out of date, or not the computer out of date, but the software that he was using, security software, if you will. So every time, say somebody like a threat would come into his computer, he would never be notified. So he was very susceptible to viruses, malware, spyware, and even hacking, as my scenario later went into. So back to what I was saying, John was an avid online shopper, and he was doing a lot of online shopping and wasn't very good at balancing his books. So every month he would get a statement saying that he was overdrawn, and John, figured, oh crap, I overspent. So he would just pay the balance off and continue shopping online. What he didn't know was there was somebody outside the country in Canada actually skimming small purchases off the top of his account. Very small purchases, but we all know very small purchases add up over time. So John never really caught those. So the next month he got another statement saying he was overdrawn, and he was fairly certain that there's no way this could have happened. So he contacted his bank. They sent him all the bank statements, and when he looked at it in detail, he noticed that there was a lot of very small purchases in the $5 to $10 range or even less from stores that he had never visited. So that was my scenario. The investigation portion of it was he contacted the police. The police looked into it and noticed that, or looking at his bank statements and noticing that the stuff came from Canada, that he probably was a victim of bank fraud. We know it was bank fraud, pretty obvious, but what they didn't know was that he was a victim of hacking. And how they figured that out was they used a product, McAfee Security Center. This being the most up-to-date, it's the one that I have on my computer. And the cool thing with this security software is that it will actually map IP addresses within, I'm not sure how accurate it is, but probably a couple hundred feet of an IP address that had accessed your computer or attempted to access your computer. And this way you can actually use that in a police report. So that's how the police found out that the IP address was foreign and it was not of John's computer. And being that this was an overseas or international crime, they had to enact the CFAA. Not 100% sure on what that acronym stands for. I'd have to look it up again. But what the CFAA is a international, here we go, it's the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. And what the CFAA protects against is international bank fraud for U.S. customers or U.S. citizens. And since this was international, I would assume that it would go on to the federal level. And they could use the IP address obtained through McAfee or any other security software that does that and track down the individual that has taken this money or made these illegal purchases. And I did find through some research that there's some very easy ways to hack a computer. There's a couple softwares you can actually download online. I found out one of them is called ComView. And what that does is it allows you to intercept Wi-Fi signals and actually tap into the wireless connection of a computer. The next one would be called AirCrack NG. And what that one does is once you're into the Wi-Fi connection, you can actually crack into the computer password databases that are stored within a computer. And then you can actually dig up files from somebody else's computer without them knowing. It's kind of scary that those are free. Back to, I skipped over the seizing information. The way the police would actually seize information or get their evidence, first they would actually seize John's computer as evidence. John being the victim, they'd need the evidence of the bank fraud. Second step would be to obviously track down this information, the IP address like I stated before. The third step would be to find this individual, the suspect, and place him under arrest for bank fraud or, suspected bank fraud anyway. The way they could prove hacking would have to be seizing the guy's computer and all information of the computer. And what we know from before in the class is that they would need a search warrant to actually access the computer. They can seize the computer, but they cannot access it without the search warrant, being that it's personal property protected under the Fourth Amendment, the illegal searches and seizures. So once they would have that, they would be able to dig into the files. Neat thing about computers is even though you delete information, it's never truly gone. You can use sophisticated software to dig up what they call cookies on a computer, and those are basically bits of information left on a computer of all the past information that you've put in there. So if they could dig up the cookies with all of John's information on this foreign computer, it would pretty much nail down the fact that this gentleman from that computer was accessing John's information, and that he indeed was hacking. And another thing that I figured they could do is if they could track down any invoices and maybe, the products that were being shipped to Canada that this guy was purchasing, if they had invoices to prove that he was purchasing, and also tie them to the bank statement, and then any property or items that were purchased, they could seize that and either return it or probably it would most likely be seized as evidence, never to be seen again. But it would be another way to nail down this gentleman for hacking and bank fraud. And how this impacted John, I don't know about a lot of people, but I've overdrafted a couple times in my account, and it sucks. Every time you overdraft on, at least my bank, is a $36 fee. So every time that hits, that's 36 times 30, plus 36 plus 36, plus the amount of money that you're overdrafting. So that adds up very quickly. So bank fraud plus hacking, financial peril, I guess, is what would be the biggest impact for anybody. Unless you could actually catch the person. In this case, they did. So that would be the biggest impact. Basically, the moral of my scenario is, make sure you have up-to-date security software and pay attention to what's on your computer. You don't want to store too personal information because it's, like I said, these free softwares, ComView and AirCrack NG, they're free, and there's instructions online on how to use them. So it's pretty freaky. So keep good information off your computer, bank information, student loan, stuff like that. Place it on a hard drive or a thumb drive and store it in the same spot. And that concludes my scenario. Have a good night.